back.
The game of basketball has evolved in the last 4 years. It's faster, stronger, more skilled than ever before. But there's one aspect of the game that will always remain timeless. So often it's overlooked, and it's something that can never be mastered completely. It doesn't come down to how high you can jump or how skilled you can shoot. The key that nobody's seeing is the mind. The strength of your mind and the ability to stay composed when the pressure is on is the most important thing when it comes to basketball. Peak performance, whether it's on the court or in life, is about harnessing the power of your mind. Your ability to control your thoughts, control your emotions in order to peak on the court is something that's so overlooked by everybody right now. And I think it's going to be the one true separator. I've been studying psychology both in school and on my own for the last 8 years. And I'm about to dive deep into the mental game of basketball, some of the techniques and qualities that make the greats great. So let's get right into it. Kobe Bryant was legendary for his unwavering confidence on the court. He possessed almost a supernatural ability to block out distractions on the court. He was more than capable of blocking these distractions out and focusing on the task at hand consistently. This laser-like focus is called deep attention. Deep attention is not just about being able to focus, but it's about being completely immersed in the present moment. It's about completely blocking out anything that doesn't have to do with what's at hand. It's about blocking the internal and external doubt, the pressures from the scoreboard, the pressures from your peers, the pressure from your parents. I can talk about how great it is, but let me teach you how to do it yourself. It's a skill that takes a lot of time and dedication to make happen, but it's something that's well within reach for everybody out there. One of the main killers of the present is dwelling on the past. Don't get me wrong, the past is important to learn from and continue to make strides in the present moment so that you can have a great future. What I need for you to realize is that the past is always going to be the past. You cannot change it, so why dwell on it? It doesn't matter if you miss a jump shot. In no way will the last possession affect the new one unless you let it. Remember, every new possession is a new opportunity to make something new happen. If you are not being held back by the past or the future, you can live within the present and play within the present, allowing you to play off of instinct. The easiest tool that I've used in my past experiences has been breathing. When the pressure's on in the game, you might have external doubts or internal doubts that are taking you outside of your normal playing ability. This is when the power of breath becomes the most important thing that you can use. You can biologically get yourself to calm down and focus on the present moment. It's actually science and it's actually proven. You can do this by combining the methods of box breathing and physiological sighs to allow yourself to be focused on the present moment. I'll break it down very simply and very quickly. For 7 seconds, you want to breathe in through your nose very lightly, almost that you can't even sense your breath coming in. At the 7th second, you want to take a deep, sharp inhale within your nose, and it should sound like that. Hold the breath for a half a second and then slowly breathe it out. If your anxiety is at an all-time high, this will allow you to recenter yourself, but you don't want to do it too much. Anxiety is a spectrum. You don't want to be too high and you don't want to be too low. You want to be right in the middle. This is a way that you can center yourself and bring yourself back down because most people do have too much anxiety. Moving on to the next point, it's important to recognize that the mind can be a powerful ally, but it can also be your worst enemy. Kobe experienced so many challenges throughout his entire career, but who knows what type of player he would have been if he didn't have the ability to control his own mind. Negative thoughts always have a way of creeping in and sabotaging performances, unless you don't let it. Now that you have control over the present moment, you can focus your attention deeply on harnessing your thoughts. Thought harnessing is about recognizing negative thoughts as they come about within your mind. And also trying to recognize, are these thoughts really you? Or are they just another form of self-sabotage that is trying to bring you down? More often than not, if you really focus, you'll find that these thoughts are not you. They are just a barrier to your success. They don't make you who you are. If you can view them as separate and not a part of who you are, you can begin to block them out and realize that they are not a part of you. Remember, you are in control of these thoughts. You have the ability to decide what you want to focus on and what you don't. Choose your growth and choose self-empowerment. Don't choose self-sabotage. The key is finding a nice sweet spot, a nice balance, so that you can control your thoughts, but you are not too overconfident in your abilities and you are not too arrogant. There's always something new to chase. Again, we're always going back to this idea of the spectrum. Now let's move on to our next point of understanding that every player's journey is completely different. There's no one size fits all to basketball as well as life. Some people blossom early and some people take a little bit longer to get to their pinnacle. The important thing to know is to embrace your own journey. You might be a little bit farther behind than people your age, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you won't eventually get there. Trust that the journey is just as important as the destination, and you have to put in that 1% work every single day to get better. You will eventually get to where you want to go unless you quit. Now you have an idea of how to control your thoughts, how to control your vision of the present, and how to maintain focus and not let yourself self-sabotage. So then you can implement the idea of visualization. Visualization is a technique used by people everywhere to improve their performance in whatever it is they're trying to accomplish. Visualization is about creating a vivid picture of what it is success looks like to you. You can create these vivid pictures in the short term by imagining things like making a shot and the ball going through the net with a swish. Now this requires you to be self-aware about what you are as a player. If you're a shooter, you're imagining yourself swishing a shot through the net. If you are a dribbler, you're imagining yourself dribbling through a bunch of people. If you're a defender, you're imagining yourself locking up the best player on the other team. Not only can you do this in the short term, you can do it in the long term as well. Imagine your long journey. Imagine, let's say your goal is to get to the NBA. Imagine yourself in the draft room, getting drafted, getting your name called. Those are very specific images that will allow you to visualize what's going to happen in the future. The power of the mind is not something that's just bullshit. It's something that really affects people on the court. There's so many key points on how you can actually control your mind, and there's so much more to the story, and I will drop more videos on this topic in the near future. For now, I want you to dive deeply into everything that we discussed in this video and go from there. See if it works, see what works, and make changes as you need.